How's it going, class? Today we're going to be doing Chapter 14, the number line and negative numbers. We talked about it earlier in a different video when my son was paying me money because he owed me money, and I like to think of negative numbers as money that you owe. But we use them for a lot of different reasons. So a lot of times sea level is considered 0, and if you're above sea level, then you're positive. You're a positive distance, and then if you're below sea level, sometimes people say negative distance. So a submarine would be negative 200 feet below 0. 0 meaning sea level. Alright, so let's talk about positive and negative numbers. A lot of times we use a number line when we start thinking about negative numbers and positive numbers. All these numbers together are known as integers. Integers include the positive numbers and their opposites. So, on the right side of the line we have positive numbers. So if you come across a question that says, what's the opposite of positive 1? The opposite of positive 1 would be negative 1. Okay? Same distance from 0. 0 is neither positive nor negative. So we come over here and we realize that on the left side is negative. Okay, something else you guys need to know. This is important for understanding pretty much everything we're going to do today. The further you go to the left, this is considered, these are smaller numbers. Or that's the way that you guys can think about it. That will help you understand less than, greater than, equal to. And these are greater numbers. The further you go to the right, the greater the number. The further you go to the left, the less the number. Okay? So, what is the opposite of 3? And that would be negative 3. They're the same distance from 0. They're absolutely 3 places from 0. So let's go ahead with that one. Those two are opposites. Okay? Alright, let's do a couple practice. Alright, so we're going to be comparing numbers on the number line. So let's go over this really quick because I know you guys probably remember this from the last lesson. But just to reinforce what you already know, this is less than, greater than, or equal to. So if you have two numbers, 3 and 4, start off simple, and it asks you to evaluate which number is less than or greater than or equal to. What symbol are you going to put in this little circle? Well, clearly 4 is larger than 3 because 4 is further to the right on the number line, or greater than. So we're going to use 3 is less than 4. Remember the alligator's mouth and that whole lesson where the alligator wants to eat the larger number. Alright, so what if we have 3 and negative 4? Okay? Sometimes people get confused with this and they think, oh, that's easy. 4 is greater than 3. But keep in mind that this is negative. So this is... my dry erase marker is not dry yet. Alright. So look on the number line. Remember, the smaller numbers, and this is important, this is what I told you earlier, the smaller numbers are further left, greater numbers are further right. So, in this situation, 4, which is right there, and 3, which is right here. Which one, 3 or negative 4, is further to the right, or greater? So 3 would be greater than negative 4. So instead of less than sign, you'll be using a greater than sign. So that's very important for you guys to understand. Alright, quick practice. Greater than, less than, or equal to. We have negative 6 compared to 4. Which one is greater? Well, 6 is bigger than 4. Absolutely is greater than 4. But if you look on the number line, negative 6 is on the smaller side. 4, which is over here, is greater than negative 6. So we're going to use less than. Okay? If this was a positive number, then it would be opposite. If this is a positive 6 and this is a positive 4, then the positive 6 is definitely greater than 4 because 6 is further this way than 4 is. Okay? Alright, so let's do a different problem. What we're going to do is we're going to take some numbers, I'm going to write them down, and I want you guys to rewrite them in order from least to greatest. So let's start out with 2. Let's do negative 4, 0, negative 1, 5. So we want to start with the smallest number, or the number that's furthest to the left on the number line, and work our way that way. So we have all these integers. Integers are numbers that include positives and negatives. So out of these 5 integers, which one is furthest to the left? Well, 2 is going to be right here. Negative 4 is going to be right here. 0 is going to be right here. Negative 1. And then 5 is going to be over here. So if you do that, at first you guys can use a number line, but as you get better at this, you'll just see the numbers and you'll be able to know which one's larger or smaller as you build your number sense. Okay, so negative 4, I'll do this in a different color here. Let's do green. I hardly ever use green. So let's do negative. Can you even see that? Barely. Negative 4 is first. And after that we have negative 1. Then we're going to have 0. Then we're going to have 2. And then we're going to have 5. That's how you write the numbers in order from least to greatest. Negative 4, negative 1, 0, 2, 5. And a lot of people will tell you this. Even like through college, you're doing calculus, differential equations, higher level physics, all that type of stuff. People miss problems, and I would say one of the hardest things, even all the way on up through college level math, is the negative. If you miss one little negative, it can mess your whole problem up. So make sure that you guys don't forget the negative signs, okay? Alright, let's build a little number sense. We're going to use some word problems and rewrite them as number problems and then solve, okay? So we want to do 5 less than 2. So we're starting at 2, and we're going to go 5 less than that. So that would be 2. And what's this mathematical operation that represents less? That would be, is that subtraction, addition, division, or multiplication? Clearly that's going to be subtraction. So 5 less than 2. We have 2, and we want to go 5 less than that. So that's going to be 2 minus 5. So what you do is you count back 5 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? That's going to be negative 3. So 2 minus 5 is negative 3. Let's try a couple more. Alright, here's a different one. 6 minus 8. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with 6, and we're going to subtract 8, which means you start with 6 and you count back 8. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's going to be negative 2. Okay? Let's try another one. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and make a mistake on this one. And you guys tell me what I do wrong. 5. Oh, it's an addition. I get to add. Okay, so 5 plus 7 is 12. What did I do wrong? Well, let's look on the number line and see. Start out with negative 5. First number is what you start out with, okay? So put that dot there. And then we're going to add 7. So you count up 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the answer is not 12 because we're basically adding 7 to a negative 5. I like to think about it as money. If you owe someone $5, you have 7, you pay them back the 5 that you owe them to get the 0. Okay? And that means you have $2 left over for yourself that you did not have to pay them. Okay? That's one way to think about it. Let's do some different. Alright, here's a different type of problem. It is an addition problem, but we're using two negative numbers. Okay? So imagine you owe 5. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a dot, the first number in, first add in your problem, you're going to put a little dot there, okay? And then we're adding another dollar. A lot of people do this. And think of it as money. So if you owe negative 5 and then you borrow another dollar, you're adding on more money that you owe. Every time you see negative, think you owe something. Think the word owe. That will help you gain the number sense. And then once you get the number sense of negatives and positives, you won't have to use that little mental trick. So you owe 5 and you're adding a dollar that you owe. So you're going to owe more. You're adding on more money that you owe. So if you add on another dollar that you owe, you're going to owe now $6. So we're adding something that's going in the negative direction. So instead of going this way, you're going to go this way. Okay? Erase that. So, and we're only going one space over, so that is going to be negative 6. Okay? Alright, so hopefully that helps you understand negative numbers a little bit better. We're going to work a lot with this here in 4th grade because this is really, really important. You have to know your negative numbers. You have to have that number sense and understand it. If you don't get it, ask for extra homework. I'll probably print out some worksheets. You guys can practice because you have to know and understand negative numbers in 4th grade if you're going to be successful in 5th grade. So this is one of the most important things. So hopefully this lesson was helpful. I will see you next time. Thanks.